Well, YouTube, we're back at it. Today is the 29th of May, Memorial Day weekend. Kind of doing some things we enjoy to do. And we are going to be looking now. We got parts organized and we begin the arduous task of cleaning and preparing parts. Well, in a minute we will be going over the new parts. This is the first unit off of the unit that this is the first clutch pack off of the unit we're keeping. You see the video of us dismantling that. This over here is the second clutch pack that we had off of a 510 or 410 that we scrapped. That one over there. This is the clutch pack off of the parts machine. In my hunt for parts, I learned that when we took these off, rebuilt by Genot, that was actually a company by Napa, but years ago, and it was bought out by another company that still works with Napa. Found it on Google. And so these clutch discs are not exclusive to Massey. This number didn't help me anywhere. CL9739. Probably could have used these, but who wants to? There was a time years ago, probably would have, due to budget constraints, but we won't be now. Of course, we have our throw-out bearing that is completely shot. There, as you know. Be talking more about this. Got a new pressure plate coming. That one's can be rehabilitated, but I didn't really want to. This is just our cover that we'll be cleaning. Intermediary disc. This goes between the two clutches. We'll have to resurface that. And we'll have to resurface that down in there and change the bearings right in there. We have a lot of parts to work with here. This one, of course, over here no discs survived. We had to cut those off, if you remember. And the ones, intermediary disc out of the 510 or 410, whatever it was. These were, and the book references it, a bonded disc right here. That's bonded. Probably could have used that one. However, when we took this one apart, the bonding did not hold and the disc came off. I would rather have the riveted, and the ones that Agco did give me are riveted. So it even mentions in the book at a certain part number or serial number break, there's bonded versus riveted. However, they gave me riveted now. So maybe this was a short term that they found that they didn't work. I don't know. Just letting you know where we're at. And those had a CL9739 on them also. And I'll get more into where to source some of your parts. I got mine all from Agco, and I will admit there was another source I should have checked. I had them a lot cheaper, but we'll get into that. I am going to go over some of the new parts. I've been inspecting them. These parts over here are all for the variator pulley. I should have probably kept those separate. I'll show you. I could break them off of the bill. I didn't know once I get if I needed these snap rings. I bought them. They weren't that expensive. This here is an expansion cap because if you remember on the pulley that came off the machine we're keeping, it's missing one of those plugs. These here are the bearings. Have been looking at these numbers, crossing them with my book. We'll have to go slowly. I don't want to read these numbers off to you yet because I don't know if they're correct. This is the throw-out bearing. I'm a little concerned that it might be for 510, which is completely different. I'll show you in a second. 2 clutch discs right here. They are what we need. I am up to, now granted I have the little bit of these felt seals over here in the total 481.26. I will tell you, everyone likes to save money. I spent a half a morning looking around and kicking myself because I was looking around on the internet and I completely forgot about eBay. There's a person on there that has 5 of these old stock for $65 a piece, and I paid $169.17. So there's $200 I could have saved. I won't return them to the dealer because I really value their help, and that's my own fault. I didn't look on eBay. Got my spring here. I got a seal here for the final piece that goes clutch cover. So 481.26. I will go over part numbers eventually, but what I'm going to do now is clean up parts. I'm not going to take you along for that. This was my list of everything I needed, and then I went into variator mode, and then I priced some belts. Main thrasher belt. Be setting down when you price that. It's almost $500. Going to be looking for a different source on that before I would have purchased that. They didn't used to be $500, and I may have one up in the parts storage area, so I'll have to check on that. That's where we're at. So we're going to begin the cleanup. I'm going to go over and talk about the combine and what we're going to do because we're in here. I'm going to explain the process that we're going to start walking through. Obviously we have our clutch off because that got stuck on us for my washing. It did work. It was obviously going to fail because the throwout bearing was going out, but it did work because I have drove this combine around. So while we're in here and we have easy access, one of the things I always did, these here do all the work, up and down, changing speeds because it's a variated speed combine. With this cylinder, we're going to change all the bearings and felt packings in there. We're obviously going to change our belts here, get rid of those. And we're going to take this cylinder out because you can see here they always weep, and you can see it's been leaking pretty good because I didn't even get it clean in here because it's impossible to get every angle with the pressure washer. And while we're in here, we're going to replace all our old, probably original hoses with new hoses so that will all be finished and everything will be working well. So that is the plan and the adventure that we're starting on. And one thing kind of leads to another. When we couldn't drive it the other day, we know it's running. We still got to work on the straw walkers. We got the hydraulic system in, but this will just solve one corner of the combine, and we will be through that and have that finished. So that's where we're headed. Kind of the report. I'm going to clean parts now and don't know what the rest of the weekend is going to bring. I have taken everything over and used Napa purple cleaner on it, power cleaner. I call it purple lotion. So I'm just going to talk about the pressure plates. This is the original pressure plate here, the 3 fingers that goes up against the throwout bearing. They are profoundly worn. I don't know if you can see how thin they are. And it honestly looks like at one time they were built up. We know someone's been in here due to the clutch discs having that Napa tag on them. And this is a Japan bearing. I doubt they were putting Japan bearings in 1975. So I have actually found this pressure plate and got it ordered on eBay. The guy had it listed for $65. I offered him $45. Of course, there's shipping, so it's still about $60. I don't know what the dealer, I asked him to get me a price, but I think he forgot. I don't know what the dealer price would have been. Other ones online were like $229. There was a kit from Ag Kits or something where you got the clutch, the intermediary, you got a whole kit, the pressure plate, $415 I think. But I did not like their clutch after I finally got a picture of it. Maybe it would have worked, but I just thought they had a pad here, pad here, pad here, and a pad here. So in my opinion, you only had half of your surface material. Probably would have worked, but I'd rather just have the pads all the way around. So that being said, I've got, if I really wanted to, I don't think these have very much wear on them at all. I think these, they're just very little wear. These were starting to show some wear. I think that's the one from the 510 or 410. This one is from the parts machine. So this plate back here has, as I found here, a broken spring. So between all of these, that spring is broken there. I don't know if you can see it or not. Let me try to focus you in. Between all of these, I could probably make a set, but for $60, I have a new one coming. But I still have three to practice with. So we'll tear one down because I don't think I'll be getting this heavy cast, sorry he wasn't in the camera there, this heavy cast retainer which holds my bearing. So might as well do a little practicing here before the new part arrives. I took these out here that set the depth for you, and then I started popping the springs off. Takes 2 screwdrivers. There's 2 of the springs. There we go. Now this is still pretty stuck in there. Still gonna have our fingers. See how stiff they were? This would have never gone to work. Amazing it worked what little it did for me. So now I'm gonna have to at least get one of these off. Here, one of those there. Don't know if you can tell it off camera. I got the cotter pin out, but the battle is not over. Probably rusted in there quite well. Remember, this is just a practice, so if we tear something up, not a big deal. You have to remember, I forgot to mention it, these springs have pressure on there, hence the name pressure plate. You got to clamp them down. If I was, oh, there, it went off. I got the pin out for you. But you have to remember, this all is under spring tension here. So I did get that out after I took the pressure off. That was right in there. So you want to be careful. If I was keeping this, like if I was going to service it, this is not how I'd want to be gripping this surface, but today a nice C-clamp probably would work good, but we're just practicing and we'll be scrapping this unit. And it looks like we might have to take off the third one. Let's see here. The second one, I mean. So that's what we'll do. Need to get two of them off. We're going to have to do this correctly when we get the new pressure plate, but it'll all work out. And we'll go from there. Development, I think when the new one comes, I'll be able to just clamp it together, fish this back on, because once this got loose, I was able to move it up far enough. And so probably how it goes. I have to admit, it's been a while since I've done one of these, and I didn't look at my tech manual, which I do have. But anyway, it's off and we have our scrap. Well, here's the final disassembly. This is the clutch surfacing. You can see there is some washers with some kind of material. I don't know if it's cork or anyway, these set on there. And then the caps went over, of course. And then here is the plate. So we have it disassembled. We knew this is the tough one because you can see here someone tried to build them up with weld. I bet that was really nice and even. Two broken springs. I got one out. The other one is firmly rusted in there. Three springs there. One of the pins is laying around here somewhere. Adjusting bolts. Everything is trashed. We won't use it, but we did a practice run. And then we will need to get snap ring pliers. There's the other pin. Need to get snap ring pliers, practice taking our bearing out of there, because I am pretty sure that I'm not going to get this piece with the refurbished or new, I think it was new old stock pressure plate. I have a sneaking suspicion that these pressure plates are not used just on the combine. They seem to be some different name brands on them. So I don't know what else they go in. That'd be up to you to decide, but this is what we're working with. So if you want to take a pressure plate apart, be mindful of the pressure. These springs exert. Needle nose, vice grips held it together. Didn't really care about the mating surface. When the new one comes, and I think we will compress it, and then it will loosen it up enough to slide this on. We will use some C-clamps with some soft jaws and bring that together. Or we may have to disassemble a couple pieces of it to slide this piece here on. Going to conclude here. It's Memorial Day weekend. Got some other things I want to do. We're coming along on the adventure. We're going to keep showing you about a clutch. Waiting on this to come in from eBay. Remember, check eBay. There were some good parts on there. I spent more than I had to. I'm not going to take them back to the dealer. It was my own stupidity for not going to eBay first and just looking and seeing what they had. Not saying every part on there you should get, but it's definitely a money saver. I would have $200 in my pocket today just on clutch discs. And I am going to have some money in my pocket because I got a nice pressure plate coming. So on the next video, we will go after the bearings, getting them out of the housings, then getting these housings cleaned up to ready to receive new parts. We will break this down into components. We'll do the clutch pack first. Then we'll go into the variator and changing the belts, the cylinder and the rubber and the hydraulic lines. And then we'll also probably jump on the table elevator lifting cylinders because they're kind of just in the way there. And if I'm going to make one trip 30 miles to the hydraulic place, I might as well take those also. Have a good Memorial Day weekend. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.